Welcome back. You're watching Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. It's a terrific Tuesday edition down on at the New York Stock Exchange in downtown New York City. The market is holding its morning gains up about 45. Bitcoin down 300, still under that 10,000 level, which I think is important. And it's always important when we bring in the best guests, the guys that know where the rubber meets the road. And joining us again on the left, on the Democratic point of view, it's David Eisenbach. He was a candidate for New York City public advocate. He's a professor at Columbia University and our very own presidential historian. And John Burnett, the managing director of One Empire Group. Yes. I finally got it all together. But guys, thank you very much for being here. A lot of stuff going on in the news. Our relations have certainly been strained with the UK under Theresa May and the Brexit and all this other stuff. And now we have a guy with a worse haircut than Donald Trump. Boris Johnson is taking the reins there. And take a look at this and tell me what you think this means.
I read in my Financial Times this morning that no incoming leader has ever faced such a daunting set of circumstances, it said. Well, I look at you this morning and I ask myself, do you look daunted? Do you feel daunted? I don't think you look remotely daunted to me. And I think that we know that we can do it and that the people of this country are trusting in us to do it, and we know that we will do it.
So, guys, Johnny, first, this is going to help us, Boris Johnson?
I think it could help us. You know, it's ironic that, you know, a person like Boris Johnson, he sounds like Trump, but his hairdo looks like Bernie Sanders, right? Look, the thing is that he vowed to make sure that he delivers on a promise that the UK people voted on in terms of Brexit. And I think that his focus and his primary responsibility is make sure that he can execute on that. And I think that he has a lot of commonalities with President Trump in terms of making sure that, you know, he honors the electorate and make sure that he can deliver. And according to him, he's going to do it, whether he has an agreement with the EU or not. So, you know, let's see.
Dave, what do you think?
Well, I don't think he's the most daunting, has the most daunting takeover. Certainly Winston Churchill from Neville Chamberlain had a worse set of problems on his hands. But it is true, with the conflict in Iran and with Brexit, he does have a lot on his plate. So, you know, he is incredibly articulate and incredibly smart. We'll see what he can do.
Yeah. And he has charisma.
Do you think this is good or bad for U.S.-UK relations?
I don't think it matters. I think that the UK follows our lead, and they've been doing it for decades, and they'll continue to do so regardless who's prime minister.
Okay, so this is a blast. This is a Take Me Back Tuesday. Al Franken is back in the news because he was one of the only people that immediately resigned from his position. Kirsten Gillibrand took aim at him, and he backed down. Now he's saying he wishes he didn't. This was kind of the start of this whole Me Too thing. Here's what Kirsten Gillibrand had to say.
There was no reporting on the 7 others. After the first allegation, did anyone call for him to resign? No. It wasn't until the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. That is when 45 senators, or whatever the number was, called on him to resign.
If she's under 1% in the presidential poll, so now she's picking on Al Franken again? Is this?
Well, she did use the Me Too movement and the Al Franken as a kind of celebrity case to position herself as the politician leading the charge. She's got, you know, big questions about her liberal credentials. She was against gun control and against gay marriage when she was an upstate politician, and then flip-flopped to become a U.S. senator. So she's using it like a lot of politicians use issues.
Did Al Franken get a raw deal here, Johnny?
Well, he didn't get a trial, right? So he got a raw deal, right? So when you look at it, he's a comedian. He did something that was distasteful, right? But it wasn't like he physically touched the individual in that photo, right? That's what sparked it. But given the time in which he did it, he was more so a political sacrificial lamb. And there was no way that he was going to survive that meet or whatever the case may be But, you know, that's the life that we live in now, the era that we live in.
So we add this to the list of a grand total of one thing that Kirsten Gillibrand has ever got done. She had a post office renamed as her only act as a senator, and she got Al Franken to drop out of the Senate. So, hey, if you're thinking about voting for her, now's as good a time as anyway. She's got no one. And we got something here, it seems like. The president tweeted this morning, we have a tweet from Donald Trump that he believes that pleased to announce the deal has been struck with Mitch McConnell and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, on a 2-year budget and debt ceiling, no poison pills. John, give us your business side of this thing. No 2-year deal, new debt ceiling.
I'm glad they got a deal done, right? So that way we don't have a government shutdown. We don't have the working class or even those that are, you know, the lower level, lower tier, middle class being impacted. That's good. However, what's not good, and I'm upset, that we keep raising the debt ceiling. And John, this is not just 1 year, it's a 2-year deal. Right?
I'm not that mad about it.
Well, the thing is, yes, I love 27,000. When we get these trade deals done, we're going to 30,000.
I'm with you on that.
But you know what? I'm tired of raising the stock market and then raising the debt. I want them to have an inverse relationship.
He wants them to not be correlated.
You're not going to find that from politicians because they want to see that stock market go up. And this is Pelosi and Trump. No one wants to be blamed for crashing the market, and they definitely don't want to be blamed for calling out the U.S. dollar, which is the greatest Ponzi scheme ever. And what we're doing right now is we're just kicking the can down the road for the inevitable crash that's going to completely wipe out the middle classes in America.
You know, the kicking.
We might have an agreement there.
Yeah, we might have agreed. Yeah. We know they don't like the debt ceiling having 2 more years. To me personally, I think you said it right. It's one of the biggest Ponzi schemes ever. This dollar that's not backed by anything, right? We have this huge printing press down there, and we can just keep printing money to keep the money supply going good. And people don't realize the tsunami that's out there.
Right, and politicians, they're figuring we just kick the can down, I'll be out of office or dead when the whole thing comes crashing down, so I won't have to worry about it. In the meantime, the stock market.
But to your point, John, look, if we keep raising the debt ceiling and we keep giving in on that, then why not do Medicare for all, right? So what it costs $50 billion?
That's right. Yeah, we just keep printing money.
So at some point we have to say enough is enough. Let's reduce the deficit and reduce the national debt.
Well, here's one thing we do know. George W. Bush doubled the national debt. Barack Obama doubled it again. And regardless who's the next president of the United States, it'll double again over the course of this 8 years.
What we'll see in 2024.
Guys, final minute.
Well, Donald Trump's already on his way with a $1 trillion deficit.
Quick thought.
Given his hair.
Will we learn anything new from Robert Mueller tomorrow, David?
No. He's going to repeat exactly what he said in the report. I think that's enough for the House to impeach, but I think they missed their window. Now it's going to look ridiculous.
We'll learn nothing new, but what the Democrats are hoping for, even the questions that Mueller doesn't answer, they'll use that. See, we have to dig deeper.
That's right.
So they're going to use that all the way to November 2020.
All right. Well, I want to thank John Burnett, David Eisenbach for joining us for Mixing It Up. You heard it all here. And coming up next.